I should call these videos raw, you know? I don't know, raw therapy sessions that I hold on video. They're a way to help me cope in a fucked up society. And let me tell you how it's fucked up. And this isn't just looking at life from a critical perspective and being cynical. That's not what this is. This is an analysis of real events taking place, and then the ideologies or the I don't know what you want to call it. The official narrative is whatever they portray it to be, and then you just got to go along with it and figure out some way to deal with it. Fuck that, okay? And see, and they want to be able to do that like they're God, and then they can impose their will upon you like God can impose his will upon you and me, because God is greater than me. So they want to take that same principle and become Godvernment, Godvernment. I think I coined that phrase, but I've heard it since then, so maybe just a few like minds have figured out that conceptual idea. And I'll tell you, it really fucking just pisses me off, okay? Fucking makes me just furious that there is a nation called America that I was taught to believe certain things about since the 60s. You know, those indoctrinations of standing up, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Yeah, you know that one? One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty. Yeah, that one. Okay. Now, I had that drummed into me every day before class started for years. Okay. And I think of that concept, and then I think about how government today is trying to, you know, piss on my fucking leg and tell me it's raining. Yeah. And then look at me like I'm fucking crazy because I'm telling them that they're pissing on my leg. And they know they are the whole time. But they're going to swear to everybody else, the entire populace, that it's raining. And you know what's fucked is what you find out is that there are a segment of people in the population that will believe that it's raining just because it came from their fucking mouth. Oh, wow. Talk about crazy power, okay? It's nuts. So I'm going to move over here. I got some people coming by. I want to give them some space. Plus, I need to watch my belongings over there. Anyway, so, I think about how Godvernment tries to impose its will on me because it comes from the power of the people, that this is the bullshit line of mantra that they expect you to fucking swallow, okay? And the only reason that it has as much impact on me as it does is because of those early years of indoctrination and marrying the idea of God, okay, to a noble and honorable nation. See, that's really the idea that was infused in me in those years, was the idea that the United States of America is a noble and honorable nation because God Almighty, the creator of everything, is on their side. And they're on his side. Its side, whatever God is. And I had a certain conception and understanding of what I believed God to be at that time. And clearly at the age of 7 years old and greater, 6 years old and greater, God's pretty big idea. Hard to quantify that as a child, okay? But clearly you are impressionable with that conceptual construct. And that's what I was indoctrinated with. And I understand that today. I've understood it for some time. I didn't know how to verbalize it or think maybe it wasn't really necessary to verbalize it and make other people aware of it because I don't hear it really coming out of too many people's mouths that really have, I don't know, they're not very intelligent, I guess. I don't know. And I don't consider myself a fucking rocket scientist at all. Okay. I mean, I have a desire to learn, and that's about all I can say. If it's greater than somebody else's, great. And if it's less than somebody else's, I'm sure it is. But I still have this desire to learn and understand and comprehend. But once you begin to realize that it's this big of a fucking con job, and you realize that your nation is not a noble and honorable nation, and it certainly isn't under any god that I would fucking worship. Not gonna happen. That fucking god? That androgynous fucking demonic satanic piece of shit, I ain't worshiping that. Fuck that. And, I think it's worthy that this nation should get fucking slapped with this. Because, see, I'm still married to that, or tied to that idea that at least God is honorable if the United States isn't. And those ideals that I had, I'm going to hang on to those and fuck this nation. Okay? Especially when I can see that the things being uh, I don't know, portrayed, I guess, I don't know, they're portrayed, they're fantasies, they're beyond, they're just somebody else's control freak, weird, perverted will is what it is. You want to account that to the master of disaster, Satan? Well, you can, if you want, okay? I mean, if there was a source where all bad came from, that's what I would say that is, right? So, and this is pretty bad when it's contrary to reality. It's contrary to good science, even. Really, great science. And you don't have to be the most intelligent guy in the world to realize that their science and their analysis is completely fucked up. Because if you do any assessment of the realities of our current culture, where you see this infusion of this, I don't know, I'm still like thinking of this this My Sex Junk video that I saw, where they're trying to portray this to children. And they're taking the symptoms and from the trauma that happened to someone when they were a child, and they're trying to create a whole complete another race of people out of it. And then call it some genetic evolutionary step in mankind. And their science is complete bullshit, okay? So if I was the master of disaster and I was trying to mask or camouflage this twisted perversion, then this is the kind of science I would use to rationalize it to those that are willing to believe anything, because it came from Godvernment. See? You see how all this ties in again? This place is fucking insane that we live in. These are insane times. Because really, that is a very big power that is able to do that. And I, knowing that that's totally warped and fucking perverted, am not going along with it. And I'm going to speak up against it at every fucking opportunity I get. And I'm just going to fucking put the real science out there. I'm going to put the truth out there regarding these things. So people's, they aren't burdened by this garbage. Because this is the kind of camouflaging that Godvernment does. And if it's coming from that, that terrible satanic realm, that demonic being called Satan, if that's the original source of this, and this is the mechanism to camouflage that shit, well, fuck him, okay? Fuck you, right? I always kind of wanted to be one of those guys that, like you see, when you read in the Old Testament, how some of those guys just had courage beyond courage. And the things that they were talking about were real events. To me, it's kind of like reading a story, and I don't know whether it's really make-believe or whether it's true. But it sounds really good, okay? And some of those stories are kind of, hey, even some of those Roman fables, and Greek fables were kind of poetic in a way, and taught certain lessons, you know. Uh, and truth is still truth, whether it comes from them and their fables or whether it, I mean, there's only one source for that truth, just like there's only one source for that very terrible, what most people would agree to call a demonic spiritual realm. Only one source for that. So I always thought it would be kind of cool to be one of those guys that really had that kind of courage and spoke about these things pertaining to what you read in the Bible in your everyday life and everywhere you go, no matter what you do. To where you're not separated from God during your secular day. See? That's what it is. It's this weird, twisted secular day now. When before it was, the indoctrination is, hey, we're the good guys because we're with God. See? And then when they went, hey, fuck you, I'm not supposed to pay attention to that. I'm supposed to forget about all that in between, see, and deny all of that because it's coming from this source called Godvernment. Well, fuck you. And if that's the people and those that are willing to go along with that are like the majority, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. I don't care. You guys clearly haven't thought about these issues, and you're not thinking about how your grandchildren that have fucking no need to know any of this stupid fucking garbage that they're trying to pass off, that perversion that they're trying to lay upon the shoulders of your sons and daughters and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. So, I have grandchildren, and I'm telling you to pull your fucking heads out of your ass. Quit acting like you're going to live forever here, and that, if you shake the boat too hard, you might fucking check out. Listen, I got news for you. You're going to check out anyway. Just like I'm going to, and it's not in my hands, it's in God's hands, whatever God is. Just like you. So, and the idea here is to stay here on this Monopoly board as long as you can. Kind of reminds me of the game Monopoly. The idea is to keep going around and keep, staying on the board rather than being out as an observer. So, hey, I'm an active participant, and I'm telling you, go fuck yourselves. I'm not going along with your fucking psychosis. So, fuck you. Anyway, I want my grandchildren to know this, and my sons and my daughters.